Good evening. This video is about the lesson plan evaluation. The lesson plan that I actually decided to choose was the entrepreneurship lesson plan. And to start off, the first question that you asked was, does the lesson plan contain a writing component? Does the component require students to communicate through writing, such as a scientist, historian, etc.? This lesson plan actually does contain a writing component, because throughout the lesson plan you can actually see the steps where they actually have to write out things like as in, for example, on one part is standards addressed, 5.0. It says develop business and financial practices needed for entrepreneurs, or 5.1, develop criteria and create a list of professionals to help start a business. Those are two examples. It's another real good one that I want to get to. On the think, pair, and share during the project instructions, documenting sources, you actually have to do research and actually go back and write these things down. So you do have a writing component throughout this lesson plan. Number 2, does the lesson plan require students to interact at some point as an intellectual community? Do they share their knowledge /learning /findings using the language of the discipline? This lesson plan actually does that as well. I can go into where the think, pair, and share part of the lesson plan. It states that number 3 actually says develop an outline containing 8 to 10 bullets, or write 2 paragraphs containing 8 to 10 sentences about the entrepreneur you chose and your findings from the research. So you actually have to do the research, and then once you do the research and you get into your group, which that's part of the let me see, what is it called, the group collaboration / cooperation. You actually did your own research, and you actually bring it all together and use one's knowledge and bounce ideas off of each other. So you actually do use this lesson plan actually does require some interaction with the intellectual community. Once again, you have to learn the language of a business, especially the business that you would like to go into. You would have to learn how they talk and the way that they talk, how they use words, things like that, in order to build a business plan accurately and things of that nature. So while preparing and also working together, it's a good way that the students would what is it the students do interact with each other and as an intellectual community. Number 3, does the lesson plan include a project-based activity? Yes, this lesson plan, it does, because it requires the students to actually do research and come together, and they have to think of a business that they want to create and be entrepreneurs of. So they have to work together and all agree on a type of type of project that they're willing to work on, that they want to create. Once they do that, they have to work together and come up with the guidelines of it, a business plan of the for the business. They have to think about the problems that may occur for this certain type of business. So they have to do research, as well as if they're doing a certain type of business like a retail store. So what is a normal problem for retail stores that they occur, or different things like that. So they actually have to do research and bring all those ideas to the table. They have to prepare, once again, a business plan. They have to think of how they can actually interact with the community and get their business out there and things like that. So all of these ideas can't come from one person, so therefore they all have to actually work together and use ideas off of each other. So they all have they could have their own specific roles within a group and just bring it all together and, you know, let it mesh together, or they can all attack assignments together as a whole and move on one by one, whichever one they would prefer. Number 4, does the lesson plan require the students to think like a scientist, think like a historian, basically think like an entrepreneur? I honestly believe that it does, speaking from experience, because, you know, sitting down and actually having to think of the problems that may occur is actually a smart thing to happen. You just don't want to actually just jump into a business. You want to actually have done research, or, you know, learn the language of a business, or how they do things, how they interact, how they communicate with other businesses and things of that nature, how to work as a whole, you know, instead of just individuals. And I think that this project, it actually will actually make the group interact as entrepreneurs together and as well. So they, like I said, they actually have to think of, well, come up with a business plan, or, you know, problems that can occur, how to be successful, how they want to run things, how they want to do this. It puts them in a business state where they have no choice but to sit down and think these things through, because there's no, if I don't think of this and it occurs, you know, if I haven't thought of this, and when I'm presenting to the class and they ask another question that I hadn't thought of, that can throw the entire group for a loop, which can cause problems. Okay, so now we have to fix this. We have to think on the fly, which some businesses, you know, some problems do occur, and managers or owners and CEOs, they do have to think on the fly. So I think this lesson plan is actually a pretty good one that would actually put students into a business mindset that would actually be pretty useful for them. So overall, I give this a pretty good lesson plan, and also a good activity for students to use. So, thank you.